What's going on, LOCKTALK family? It's your boy Jason. Let's talk some locks. I'm going to talk about the MLB games for August 26th. This will be a different video because I'm not going to do props. I'm going to talk about the entire slate, at least for what's available. It's 11 o'clock at night, August 25th, so the night before. So again, some pitchers aren't listed, the umpires aren't listed, so things can change. But if you guys want me to keep on coming up here and you've been enjoying the content, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. You can always get a chance to win a free daily card. And make sure you pay attention to that pinned comment. I always drop something special for all my YouTube guys who watch me and give me that support, man. So let's talk about, but before I do want to mention one thing. Come to my site where you get all my premium plays, all my winnable. We do have something very special for you guys. The NFL will be back, man. As soon as you know it, the NFL will be back very, very soon. And you get the entire season. That is from, if I can zoom it in right here, from today or whenever we start until all the way until February 9th, only at this special price. I believe there's only 2 more spots left. I opened up more spots for the full NFL season. This price will go up to $7.99. So if you guys do want it, come here to get that. Or if you guys also want the rest of the year package, we also offer that as well. But nonetheless, we also have weekly, daily, and a free plan as well. So definitely go on that link below. Go on the winnable. If anything, just get the free text alerts. You will get texted anytime I drop a play, a free play, an alert, things like that. Something very, very special that a lot of people cannot offer. A text is much better than just an email because it goes right to your phone and there's nothing else competing against it. So whenever I drop like a live play, a free play, or just a free update or promo, you'll get it straight to your phone versus just only on email, which this also does. But enough of that, man. Let's go straight into the games for Monday, August 26th. So I don't like to talk about doubleheaders. I don't even like betting doubleheaders too much. So I'm probably going to have to go through that after this video or maybe early in the morning because lineups and everything is so different on a doubleheader. KC against the Cardinals, which is a very important game for playoff implications. But yeah, I can't do doubleheaders. I don't like doing doubleheaders. So let me go speak about the first game right here. And let's talk about the Yankees against the Washington Nationals. They will have Mitchell Parker against Nestor Cortez, nasty Nestor. And yeah, man, look, in this game, I think Parker has his work cut out for him. He's been absolutely terrible. I mean, the last game he just played, he got absolutely rocked. If I could pull up the numbers really quick. He did not look good. The Yankees have been hitting very, very well against left-handed pitching. But, I mean, I say recently they've been hitting good against everyone. Against left-handed pitching in particular, they have pretty good power numbers. Also, pretty low strikeout rate. I think Mitchell Parker will have a very difficult time. Just in his last game, he went against the Rockies, only given 1 earned run. But before that, got absolutely rocked by the Phillies, who at the time was the #1 hitting team against left-handed pitching. But he has his work cut out for him against the Yankees team, who right now I would say on some advanced metrics, the Yankees are top 10 against left-handed pitching, really high walk rate, low strikeout rate. So I think they could definitely cause him to throw a lot of pitches, maybe exit the game early. I mean, besides this Rockies game where the Rockies, I mean, they've been a bottom tier team against lefties in the last few weeks against the Phillies and a few other really, really good teams. I mean, he did only pitch like 3, 6, 5 innings. So I do think he's going to have a difficult time. On the other side, though, I don't love Nestor Cortez, particularly on the road. He's done a little bit better as of late. But I'm not really in love with Nestor Cortez, man. I mean, on the road, he's typically been a fade. This national team has not been hitting with a lot of power, but they do have a pretty low strikeout rate and a decent walk rate, too. So they could maybe cause Cortez, get some contact on him. They've historically done pretty good, at least in the last month or two, against lefties. But I'll say this, Nestor Cortez has definitely put it together. But, you know, in terms of the odds and the play, I mean, I think I would have to favor the Yankees in the money line. I don't love it. I think this price sucks. So you would probably have to do run line. Luckily, they're on the road, so you don't have to worry about like some really terrible backdoor cover, I guess. But I like the Yankees on the road to have, you know, the full game to cover the run line. But I mean, for who I think will win, I think the Yankees, they have the better bats. Cortez has been in a little bit of better form, even though I'm not like super souped that, you know, he's on the road. And typically when he's been on the road, let me take a look really quick. On the road, let's see. On the road, he has a 1.43 ERA versus home. He has a point 0.9. I mean, a 1.43 WHIP on the road versus a 0.92 WHIP at home. So yeah, recently he's been doing a lot better. But sometimes no matter how long the season is, players don't do that well in certain spots, and that's a split that he's been terrible against and not just this year, but throughout his career we've seen that. Also, he did well against teams that have not been hitting well. The White Sox have not been hitting well against lefties at all, and then the Guardians. I mean, they've definitely been a little bit better against lefties and righties recently, but they're not a top tier team at all. Angels have been doing a little bit better. They're a top 10 team against lefties, and they got to it, man. 6 earned runs. The Nationals not at the Angels level, at least in the last 2 to 3 weeks. But I mean, I think the Nationals can be competitive though. So I'm not in love with this spot, but I think the Yankees probably win the game though. All right, let's see. Let's talk about the next game. Next game I want to talk about is right here. The Houston Astros against the Phillies. We got Zach Wheeler against Ronald Blanco. And Blanco, man, he got absolutely rocked the last time. The last time he pitched. Let me pull up the numbers really quick. Hold on. So if I pull up the numbers real quick. Let's see. Ronald Blanco. So Ronald Blanco, I mean, in the beginning of the season, man, he was untouchable, almost untouchable. But recently, man, he's been getting a little touched up. I think they've been figuring him out. But let me see. I'll pull up his game log. So look at his game log. Last time against the Red Sox. Red Sox, look, maybe not in the last few games, but they've been killing everyone. Every right-handed pitcher, it doesn't matter who they are, they give up runs. He gave up 5 earned runs to them. I give him a little bit of a break. To the Rays, gave up no earned runs. And then against the Red Sox, the first time he only gave up 2 earned runs. And I'd say at that time frame, that was when they were number 1 against right-handed pitching. So I think that's pretty good. 2 earned runs, especially against a hot Red Sox team, was really good. And then before that, gave 2 earned runs to Tampa Bay. He did not look good in his last game against the Astros. I mean, against the Red Sox. But I'll give him a pass, man. It was the second time the Red Sox saw him. They already got to him the first time a little bit. So in this game, I wouldn't be surprised if, the Phillies, who have not been hitting well, struggle a little bit. I will say this, though. The Astros did play the late night game in Baltimore against, at night. Now they have to travel to Philadelphia, which is not super far, but something to consider. Usually teams that travel after the night game don't really do that great the next time out. So the bats may be a little bit sluggish, things like that. And they're going against Zach Wheeler, who has been excellent at home. Let me see if I can take a look at his game log, but he's been very, very good at home. I trust Wheeler at home much more than on the road, but his stats are incredible, man. Hard hit, exit velocity, all top tier, man. I mean, even his expected ERA below a 3 still. So, I mean, that's pretty incredible. Last time he played the Braves, only gave up 2 earned runs. He's had a quality start every single time out in the month. And the Astros, man, look, the Astros have been one of the hottest teams in the MLB. I mean, they just beat the Orioles in pretty amazing fashion, beat the series. Orioles have not been playing well, man. We backed the Astros in one of the games in that series, and they blew them out. So, I mean, at plus money, I think it was the first game at plus 130 or something. So, I mean, the Astros have been one of the hottest teams out of the break against right-handed pitching. They're a top 10 team. Philadelphia, however, has been a bottom quartile team. So, I mean, even if the bats are a little bit, been a little bit lackluster for the Philadelphia side, I don't know. I think, to me, if I had to pick something in this game, I'm kind of looking at the under here. Like, I think we could see some sluggish bats from the Astros. And then also, I mean, the Philadelphia Phillies have just not been hitting that well. So I could also see that being a factor as well. So if I had to pick a side, though, I think there is value with the Astros, especially at plus 140. I think Ronald Blanco has a bounce back type game, maybe. Phillies have not been hitting well again. And then it could be possibly low scoring just because maybe the Astros bats are a little bit tired. And the Phillies, man, I mean, they have not been hitting well. All right, so we talked about that game. Let's see. Let's talk about a few more. Let's talk about this game right here. The Toronto Blue Jays against the Boston Red Sox. Nick Pivetta against Jose Barrios, man. And look, the Red Sox, they didn't do amazing against the Diamondbacks. They were getting a bunch of runs. They were giving up a bunch of runs. So it'll be interesting to see how that game ends up turning out. But I don't like Barrett. I don't like his game so far, man. The guy's been giving up, look, 3.79 earned runs per nine. He hasn't been too great. And Nick Pivetta on the other side, big strikeout type pitcher. And I want to pull him up particularly because one of the highest strikeout percentile pitchers. But look, this team, the Toronto Blue Jays, have been doing pretty good against right-handed pitching, man. I mean, top 10 in terms of K rate, forcing walks, batting average is not that bad either. I mean, weighted batting average also pretty good, above a 3. So I mean, I think the Blue Jays can get to Nick Pivetta, but in the same breath, I also think the Red Sox can get to where is he? Jose Barrios has been, in my opinion, pretty terrible this year. He's not been a high-level pitcher. I honestly think Toronto, they have to kind of fix up their team. The pitching's not that great. The batting, for some reason, has not been that good. They got to switch something up. But Barrios was supposed to be like a stud-type pitcher. He has not been like that this year. But, again, this game is in Fenway, a batter-friendly ballpark. I can see runs on both sides. Also, Toronto's bullpen, I mean, they're not as bad as they were in the beginning, like maybe a month ago. But they still have a pretty terrible bullpen. I mean, if I take a look, Boston is actually one of the worst bullpens right now. And then where's Toronto? Toronto actually has stepped it up. They're actually league average now. But, you know, I think teams always kind of go back to their mean in some fashion. And the Red Sox can definitely do it. They can definitely get to Barrios and their bullpen, who's been still lackluster, not like top tier. So I like runs. But if I was to pick a side, I feel like there's like slight value with Toronto, but I don't know. It could really go either way, to be honest, man. I'll be honest. I'm not really sure about who will win the game, but I do think runs can happen though. Let's see. All right. Let's go to that next game, man. So the next game we have on the board will be the Atlanta Braves against the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota Twins, Bailey Ober has been a pretty excellent pitcher. He gives up the home run ball here and there, but for the most part has that strikeout stuff. He had a pretty good outing. Last time I bet on him against the Rangers, he got the win there. Only gave up 2 earned runs, so quality start. Max Fried, however, left-handed pitcher. He's had his moments, but for the most part, it's been kind of okay. I mean, he had the injury, I think, in the beginning of the season. But I actually like the Twins in this game. I think in the money lines, I think the Twins have the advantage. I mean, they've been one of the top teams against left-handed pitching, while Max Fried has not been that great. Ober has been okay. I mean, Atlanta's been an average team against right-handed pitching. But, you know, I think they also Michael Harris also got hurt, I believe, if my memory is correct. So let me see if I could pull it up. He hurt his hand like today. Michael Harris did today. He hurt his hand, so we'll see if he even bats. But Minnesota's been excellent against lefties, and I think they could get to Max Fried. So I'll take Minnesota -1 away. We'll see where the line goes, but I do favor them in the spot, especially playing at home. Minnesota's been a little bit better at home than on the road, at least hitting-wise. All right, so let's talk about the next game we got on the board. Let's go through the Chicago Cubs against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Jameson Taillon against Mitch Keller on the Pirates side. And I don't know, man. This game's such a tough one. To me, it's a toss-up. Mitch Keller's been okay. I mean, Chicago's been okay against right-handed pitching. Same thing with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, honestly, it's not my favorite game on the board. I mean, the Pirates, Mitch Keller, he was at one point really good first 5 pitcher. But I'll say this, man. Chicago, at least when it comes to, let's see, right-handed pitching, let me take a look. I'll say Chicago is a top 10 team, while the Pirates, they have been a bottom 30 team in the last few weeks. So if I was to pick a side, I think the pitching is kind of even. I don't think Mitch Keller is that great, but neither is Jameson Taillon. I would probably go with the Cubs, bro. Even though, you know, Pirates have some dangerous guys and their bullpen might be a little bit better. I think the bats for the Cubs side will be the advantage here. So give me the Cubs at, if it's even money, at +100. I don't know which other lines there are. Let me see. Game lines. Yeah. Is that it? Yeah. I mean, I think the Cubs with the bats, I think the pitching is kind of a wash, win this game. All right. Let's see the next one. Let's talk about the San Diego Padres against the St. Louis Cardinals. Kyle Gibson against Ronald Vasquez. And, bro, I mean, the Padres got their butt beat against the Mets in the series, man. I backed them in one of the games, and they got absolutely smacked. I don't know what's going on, but San Diego Padres, I'll say this. They're one of the best covering teams on the run line when they're away from their home field. But I do not trust this guy. I do not understand why he is still on this team. He is absolutely terrible. Vasquez is a garbage can. And Kyle Gibson, he's not been doing as well as he did in the beginning of the season. But I mean, still been excellent, man. I mean, still doing, I think he's serviceable. I think he's much better than Vasquez. Vasquez is absolute trash. So, I mean, I don't know if these money lines are correct. I mean, these are probably wrong, but I would probably favor San Diego in some way. I mean, I was probably favor, I'm sorry, St. Louis in some way. But look, Padres are still a dangerous team against righties, even though they did not do that well against the Mets. It's a tough one. I don't know what the actual line is, man. I'm pretty sure this can't be right. Let me take a look. I don't think this is right. But look, even if it is, I think Cardinals, there could be slight value, but I'll take a little further look into it. I'm not in love with this game, to be honest, though. Let's take a look at the next one. All right. The Detroit Tigers against the Chicago White Sox. Dean Martin and... Let's see. What the fuck? How come I can't pull up? Oh, they don't have a Detroit pitcher yet? Let's see. They might not have a Detroit pitcher on this. Let's see. Right now, I see Madden as the pitcher. I didn't really look too hard into this game yet. I mean, Dean Martin's been okay, man. He's been somewhat serviceable. I mean, both teams don't have anything to play for, to be honest. I mean, the Tigers, the only thing is I just can't trust the White Sox batting, man. The batting has been absolutely garbage, even though the Tigers aren't probably throwing their best pitcher out there. Their bullpen's also been garbage. So even at plus 128, I don't think it's enough to really compensate you for taking the risk. So if I was to bet this, even though I wouldn't suggest betting this at all, I would take the Tigers minus 145 on the money line. But that's just simply because how terrible the White Sox bats have been and that bullpen have been. All right, in the next game, we got the Miami Marlins against the Colorado Rockies. Edward Cabrera against... Let's see, do they have anyone listed here? All right, I'll look. There's no pitcher for this game, so I'm going to have to skip it. But these can't be the lines just because there's no pitcher on the other side. So I'll probably skip this game. I wrote some notes on Cabrera, but I thought all right, so you know what? There's no other pitcher than another game. So let me go to one where there are pitchers listed. Miller against Ryan Pepiot, man. So Ryan Pepiot, he has that strikeout stuff. Ever since his injury, he's been picking back up a little bit better. I mean, he's been a pretty good pitcher, in my opinion. He's had some blow-ups. Particularly, I remember the one against the Miami Marlins, but he got absolutely rocked. And then he got injured, I think, that game and didn't come back for a few weeks. He'll be going against Miller, who's been okay, man. I mean, Miller's been a decent pitcher. I don't really love him too much. I do think, I'll say this, I think there's a batting advantage with the Tampa Bay Rays, man. I mean, Seattle's been absolutely terrible, man. They strike out still at one of the highest rates in the MLB. I think there's a huge pitching advantage, a batting advantage on the Tampa Bay side. Their bullpen would have been a lot better. I think if Fairbanks was still there, but I think Pepiot's actually the better starting pitcher in this game. And with that strikeout stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to shut down some of these guys on his time up there. So at this line, I think at plus money, I think there's value with Tampa Bay. I think they have the better bats, the better starting pitcher. And then, you know, the bullpens can battle it out. But I do think the batting side on the Tampa Bay will be the difference. If I take a look at the strikeout for Seattle against right-handed pitching, they're striking at a 27% clip, but not with a lot of power either, too. So Tampa Bay, I mean, they haven't been hitting with too much power, but I do think against Seattle, they have a slight edge. So I'll probably roll there with them. But guys, thank you so much for watching this entire slate breakdown. Didn't get through every single game just because we don't have time. Also, I mean, there's no pitchers listed, so I can't really talk about some of the games. But if you want to know exactly what I'm giving out to all my clients, we got WNBA, MLB all back. I'll see y'all in that next one, man. Let's go.